Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to Frost and Fire. So last episode, we had a mech cluster land up top up here. And as a result of that mech cluster, we sat around not really doing anything until we were offered a quest to spawn a bunch of gorillos as manhunters as a threat for a quest, and decided to pit Gorillo and mech cluster against one another, and the net result was it worked fantastically. And we are just cleaning up the remnants of that fight. So we have one Lancer down here. We have two Centipedes in the northeast. And Gabe and Leth are equipped with sniper rifles, and I'm going to have them clean up the remaining mechs. There's a lot of low mood in the base, so I have to be careful about what I have them do and all that. All right, so Bash is closing that door, and then he is going out here. I also have to be very careful of hypothermia because it's quite cold. It is quite cold, and only Leth and Gabe are decently equipped for the cold. So Leth here is breaking down these temporary walls that I was using to steer the gorillos. And we are going to head on out and find some mechs to fight. Bash is coming to try to repair that ancient smooth stone before the mech destroys it. Although it's not necessarily a consequential, it's a corner piece, so it doesn't really matter if he destroys it. And then Gabe and Leth are heading out to the centipede, or the centipedes, I should say, in order to see what they could do. Okay, this should be an easy fight. Oh yes, that Lancer was very, very, very damaged ahead of time, and blunt damage does really a lot of damage to mechs. If you take a look at the mechs here, you can see their armor, right? Their sharp is 72, but their blunt is only 22. So it's way easier to get blunt damage to do full damage to a mech than, oh, all right. That metal there is gone. I'm just going to turn around. Okay, so my snipers are working on the centipedes. We will kite and fight. I have to make sure not to kite to a corner because there's not going to be a way for me to avoid the gunfire in a moment. So I did get some feedback that I will cover now that I'm just sort of cleaning up these. Oh boy, it's too close. So Zdenek mentioned or asked the question, what is the best piece of clothing for people to craft for sale? And that is a question that is contingent upon whether or not you have the royalty DLC or not. So if you have the royalty DLC and you're just looking to make the most amount of money out of the materials that you have, the answer would be well, that didn't work. The answer would be corsets. And of course, with our Mandalorian jetpacks here, we can avoid getting truly trapped. I will do a tri-hop here. To avoid the being cornered. You were probably worrying about me, weren't you? But you forgot that I had fully fueled up jetpacks, so I had a contingency. It worked beautifully. So yeah, back to my point. Corsets would be the best bang for your buck if you're looking to make money for tailoring. If you are... The issue with corsets, of course, is they require a little bit more work than dusters, which is fine, but they do make significantly more money for less resources. Not significantly more money, but they do cost less resources. So they're more resource efficient of a material, of clothing to make. Which means, that brings me to my point, which means let's stop making regular cloth dusters. We can start making corsets instead. And he also mentioned, would it make sense to move the brewery in here so that Raptor, or whoever is brewing, doesn't get hypothermia? Sure, yeah, that makes sense. All right, at this point, what I'm going to do is the animal restricted hauling. I'm going to allow my gorillas to start hauling stuff. So what I'll do here is I'm going to set up a dump stockpile. How many rotted gorillas do we have? 23, so probably 20. So I'll do a 4x5 zone for rotted animals, because some of those gorillas there are not rotted. And then the animals will be able to help me haul that stuff. And, okay. So, Storyteller saw fit to send me yet another mech cluster. It's a weird one. So there's a sunblocker in there, which... a high shield, so no mortars. A low shield, so gunfire. Is there any other shields in here? Just those two. So there's no auto mortars, which is good. Which means I can take my time fighting that thing. Leth is starting to get hypothermia, though. We actually do have a hypothermia shack, so let me go warm up in the hypothermia shack. It's rare that I ever get to use that, right? Well, we're not that cold yet. I'll just keep fighting. So let's analyze this a little bit more. We've got 8 pikemen, 4 lancers, 8 scythers, so they're dangerous. These make centipedes and scythers. There is a low shield, like I said, a high shield, a low shield and a high shield. How many mech drop beacons? There's 2 mech drop beacons, a whole bunch of proximity activators, and most of the turrets are in the north except for this one and some of the mini turrets. It's a sun blocker, so we know no solar panels are going to be able to yield power for us for a while. But again, it's not close enough. It's one of these that we could just ignore, providing that power isn't an issue. All right, so let's lose the heat stroke. Now, one of the things about this heat stroke shed is I need to be able to get out of there, right? Before the mechs overtake my position. I'm going to have JD go out to help the snipers. Let me actually conscript you, force wear, and have you march. So it's taking longer than I thought it would. We've got a baby crab here. Sorry, baby crab. This is going to be a terrible way to die. Just sending you outside to become hypothermic. And JD is moving towards the other mech. These mechs are pretty mightily injured, I've got to say, so I'm surprised they haven't fallen yet. Like this one here, I can't even see its health bar. As you can see, it's been shot a lot. Oh, I let it get too close. Luckily, it missed. Part of the reason it missed was I'm sure its its manipulation site is pretty terrible as a result of all the damage it has suffered. So, yeah, there we go. Finally, jeez, it's not a very strong, effective fighter anymore. Okay, JD is getting a little fussy. Let's try to finish this fight up so I can focus on other things. before I have mental breaks. Leth is back to being hypothermic. This centipede is actually missing an entire body ring. There it goes. Done. So, scheduling. Everybody is going to stay fortified, including Leth. One of the things I'm going to do is to break down... JD, I'm going to have you do it, even though you're close to being a mental wreck. I'm going to start to break down the false walls, the like temporary walls that we had queued up everywhere to steer the manhunters around, the guerrilla manhunters. So I think that's every wall. Another thing I'm going to do is the stay fortified zone will indeed allow us to go up here and tidy this up. There's a lot of wealth up there, and I want to profit. All right, Leth, I'm going to have you deconstruct this, and then here, I'll haul this. Gabe, deconstruct this. Haul. Okay, so now I'm bringing in the low shield pack and the bionic arm and breaking down these walls. And then once they're inside, I'll set them to a safe fortified zone, which they are. Okay. Left is going kind of a weird way, but whatever. Oh, that crab. I saw you. You stealing the foul meat. Yeah, the animals here, instead of starving, they will break their restricted zones and violate where they're allowed to be for the sake of eating food. Raptor is probably going to require some warmer clothing if he is to do butchering, because he's unconscious. Thank you, Hippie. All right, so Mr. Raptor, you're not going to be pleased by this, but I'm going to force you into non-royal clothing because, well, you're just too cold. There we go. Baby crab's gone. Unfortunately, I propped open a door with that baby crab. There we go. Okay, I might switch some of the helmets that we have for toques in order to keep people warmer, because it is dreadfully cold out. You know, it's negative 106 C. So this cluster here, I don't think is going to be much of an issue for me to leave. However, my power consumption is high. Right now we are in peak winter, or whatever you want to call it, and it's going to be very, very expensive to keep all the power and the lights on. So I am looking at my power deficit. Let me turn some stuff off. Yeah, now we're in a power, not in a power deficit anymore. Raptor, yeah, pick up that rifle. Okay, we're about to have, in about a day, a whole lot more fermented beer, which is great. And Raptor's now brewing in the new area. And it's so far, no one has really become dangerously hypothermic as a result of not wearing toques. So I can ignore that for now. And we're cleaning up the zone pretty quickly of steel, plasteel, corpses, and the like. Yeah, we are not... I wouldn't say we're breaking even exactly. If I really needed to, I could also... I could turn off research benches and the like. I don't think the power situation is quite that critical because I could, of course, toss a wind turbine or something like that down and supplement or power off some external lights or, you know, there's a lot of other options I have at my disposal. Even put a hydro geothermal here. That wouldn't be a terrible idea, to be honest. Let's take a look at that as a source of power, because we already have this area kind of walled off. So I'm going to set up this like a proper walled off geothermal. Is that the right dimensions? Yes. And this can also double as an airlock. I'm not going to put a roof on it until it's ready to go. But yeah, that's not a terrible way to make some additional power. It does mean that this turret, this turret's line of sight is kind of ruined, but oh well. So I can micromanage my constructors to focus on building that back up. Another thing I need to do is to switch the weapons that I have on me. Where are you taking that body? Switching the weapons that I have on me away from sniper rifles, because obviously sniper rifles are no longer needed. So I counted exactly the correct amount of gorilla corpses. That's great. Nothing like patting myself on my own back. And we'll get those burned in a minute. So Leth is going to switch weapons to the Molotov cocktails and go rock some gorilla bodies. So I think I got like 3 out of the 23 gorillas or something like that. What was it? 23 or 24? 26. Okay. Well, I got like 3 of 26 to not rot, as far as I could tell. Which is a pretty low amount, but that's due to the difficulty. The higher the difficulty, the more, the larger percentage of rotted gorillas you're going to experience. Okay, so the border wall for the new geothermal is starting to get laid out. And let's get you that legendary rifle again. And then everyone will be in the sort of correct weaponry. I say sort of because it really depends on the job. All right, so this battery is filling back up, and that's actually without the geothermal geyser. It was, you know, I think our batteries are filling up as a result of just being power conscious. I'm also going to run power, double the power and run it down there. And it does mean that I don't have a backup power line in this area, but I'm not worried about that. So we are getting a little bit of hypothermia as a result of not wearing toques, which is something to be concerned about. So for Bash and Phoenix, I'm going to have them switch to toques when they're able. I don't want terrible hypothermia to set in. Once we have this geothermal generator built, I'm going to switch batteries and start filling up my other batteries, because having 4 backup batteries that are empty is not much of a backup. Not much of a backup indeed. So these guys, is there no countdown timer here? As far as I can tell, this mech cluster does not have a countdown timer. It's just going to be dormant until something triggers it. It has a lot of proximity sensors, but I might be able to, like I like to do, you know, engineering setups so that my enemies will destroy themselves. I might be able to engineer a way for that to be a bit of a trap. So the concept here would be to wall up here so that you can't, there's no freedom of movement here, and do the same here. Or probably for less steel, go diagonally. Like that. So any enemies coming from the west or the north cannot take the quick path through here. They have to go this way. And then delicately sort of push the enemies towards this proximity sensor so that any enemy coming in from the west, north, northeast, east triggers these mechs and has to fight the mechs for me. Because, yeah, that sounds really good to me. So, Mr. Bash. I'm going to have Mr. Bash. Actually, what's your... Okay, nope, your rest is fine. It's easy to forget. I keep getting tricked that it is not nighttime. Oh, Psychic Drone High. For all males. Okay. All my males except for JD... Or not JD, Gabe has recreation as a top priority. Gabe is cyclically dull, so he's not gonna care if there's a droner or not. As you can see, he isn't feeling the high psychic drone at all, 0. But everybody else is gonna be feeling it as a negative 54 for a Raptor, which is awful. So I'm gonna have them on like pure recreation to try to counteract the droner, which is gonna drive me a bit batty. I'm gonna have Gabe deliver the materials for the geothermal generator so that the constructors who are suffering from the psychic drone don't have to work so hard. But as you can see, they are major break risks. And we're going to tap into the smoke leaf, I think, as a remedy for that. Over here, I think what I'm going to do is make some cotton. My potato amount looks very, very healthy. So yeah, I'm going to actually, maybe this whole thing should be cotton. Oh, come on. And then what little power I had gets sapped away by a electrical event. That is brutal. Ew. That is a lot of corpse bile. Hey, hippie. Oh, I feel bad. Hey, hippie. You know how, like, you like to clean? She doesn't actually like to clean. This mountain of corpse bile. How do you feel about tidying that up? Man, there really needs to be a cleaning sidecast. That would be nice. I don't really need her to clean all that much. All right, keeping a close eye on the power here. I have a whole bunch of excess power, which is really good. If I can afford to have a constructor get over to the get over and actually build the geothermal generator, that'd be great. I don't know if it's going to be Bash. No, Bash's mood is dropping, like, to 0. I don't think it's going to be JD either. I don't think we're going to have... Well, maybe Phoenix? Hey, yeah, Phoenix. I know you're high in smoke leaf, but go build this complicated structure. And ignore the darkness and the numbing cold and the terrible speech and the psychic drone. Yeah, okay, understandably, I think he's upset. Come on, hang in there. I know you have, like, mood risk. At least he has a minor passion for his work. Okay, so his mood is dropping to 0. Go, 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 get inside. The psychic drone really needs to go away. Really needs to go away. So now that we have the geothermal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow these batteries to fill up. I think this geothermal, yeah, it should be producing power for us now. So we'll have 3,600 watts additional to what we previously were generating. And the geothermal there, oh, let's turn this off. The geothermal there will help to top up our batteries even without sun power, solar power, whatever you want to call it. The second drone is ending, which is going to be phenomenal. I think what I'm going to do is not take my guys off of pure recreation for just yet. I'm going to let them recreate up so their mood is a bit higher. We do have this bionic arm, which would be a good addition for Bash, perhaps. So I'm going to, once Bash goes to sleep or rest or whatever, I'm gonna set up a surgery queue. And now that I have a little bit of excess power, what I could do is start to turn on benches and the like. So I'm going to have JD start to crank out some additional components because we're very low. We only have 16, which is not that many. Another thing I'd like to do is put a standing lamp maybe here and roof up this area so that it actually generates heat. And we can use it as a way to warm ourselves if we're away from the base and we are getting hypothermic. So, as you can see, it's ambient temperatures going up. And I think I'm going to actually move the doors and the lamp. I'm going to put the lamp here and move the doors so it's a straight pass, and it's going to be faster for us to walk through. All right, everybody else is going to be set back to totally normal schedules, not a pure recreation schedule. I'm sure they'll miss that. And another thing I'm going to want to do is to... Ooh, hippie, you're getting cold. Is to micromanage probably Bash in setting up these bait walls. These walls that bait enemies into the mech cluster. Cargo pods of uranium. Oh, yes, I will take some uranium. So another thing I might be able to do is the Stay Fortified Zone is going to be expanded down here. Mostly because there isn't a threat down here, so we'll allow them to travel around here. Just fine. When did these components get damaged? That is odd. Okay, I have too many potatoes. Where are we storing the rest of the potatoes? Just sitting them. Okay, they're just sitting there. Well, okay. I'm going to switch. No, let's stay on fine meals. That's fine. Okay, So walls in lieu of the X doors. And then a little bit of light so we walk through this area quickly, and there we go. A wonderful little warming hut thing. All of this should now be assigned to a... Oh, and this needs to get destroyed. All of this now needs to be a home zone. So let's expand the stay fortified so we can break that down. A psychic sooth female. Cool. That's useful. Okay, I like that. And that's just... Yeah, without this, we would be in the power deficit. So let's switch batteries. And Hippie is now working to haul this slag. Great. At least they're doing something. I don't know if that's like the most productive use of their time, but at least it's work. All right, what time is it? 15. Bash, I'm going to unschedule you or unrestrict you and micromanage you to do the sort of dangerous buildings. One of the, I mean, oh, Raptor can use Silver Drop. All right, Raptor, drop it. There is no point in waiting for Silver Drop unless you're worried about your colony wealth being too high that it will get you into trouble. That would be, in my opinion, the only reason not to use Silver Drop is if you're like too wealthy and you're scared of your wealth amount, that it will like be some sort of detriment. But you might as well, you know, Silver Drop happens to be one of those. As soon as it's off cooldown, just trigger it. Just trigger it. All right, I am having rolling brownouts. I was for a second. Raptor, why are you... All right, I'm changing your desired psi focus lower because you should not be psi focusing that far past your requested point. So I need to pay more attention to Bash. I said I was micromanaging him. He is technically free to wander. Oop, that's not what I wanted you to do. Technically free to wander into very dangerous areas. So because of that, I need to micromanage him so he doesn't do that. Okay, well, that changes that. This is a scattered drop raid where they scatter a little bit everywhere. I don't know if any of them, because I didn't get this wall built, I don't know if any of them are going to be pushed into the mech cluster. But there is one here in our kill box. There's two in this section. There's one up here, so the one up there, let's spin up the turrets. Cyberman is up there. There's quite a lot of Reapers here, so let's turn that on. Yes, Billy Brown did trigger the... Are you Billy Brown? Because your name is definitely not Billy Brown. Triggered the mech cluster. So the mech cluster is live, which means I really don't need this wall anymore. I do want to build this to cause any attackers coming in this way to go the more dangerous route, but I don't need that right now. Oh, here's Magenta Fairy. And Fargo. Data. Juggernaut. Wow, all those shots and he didn't get hit once. The luckiest duck ever. So Cyberman. Yep, okay, and they're already starting to assemble. Wow, that's gonna get real messy real quick. JD should probably not be in a punching fight with a robot. Just my experience, that's a bad idea. Let's get a full head count. So where is Leth? Okay, there Leth is. Reaper that spawned in the kill box, unsurprisingly, was the first one to die. Okay, this one's gone. The steel mini turret, whoa, almost got broken, but held out. I think this turret just shot me. That's not friendly. Now, the rest of these enemies here ought to be just traveling into the kill box, because they aren't sappers or anything like that. Now, the ones that are trapped in here need a valid path, so they will bash their way through, which is not great. Hippie is just bruised. So another thing I'm going to do is let's fire up the defenses here. And fire up the heater. So because it was a scattered drop, these enemies are coming in just a few at a time, which is very, very easy for automated defenses to deal with. Maybe even to the point where I don't necessarily need to keep the wounded shooters. Yeah, I don't need to keep the wounded shooters in the line of fire. I'm going to have Raptor tend to them. Now, some of these mechanoids... Oh, there's Billy Brown. I was wondering where Billy Brown was. Some of these mechanoids are getting real angry, and they're coming full force after me. I don't know if they're going to turn around or not. But where's some of my other patrons? Talon is a patron. And that might be it. But yeah, the raiders here have definitely pissed off those mechanoids. There's no doubt about that. All right, Phoenix, you just warm up. It's not exactly warm in those areas, but it's warmer. For medicine, I'm going to do no meds, not even herbal. I do need to craft the herbal into proper medicine soon. I'm going to actually do the make medicine forever. And once Raptor's done patching those guys up, actually crank out a huge batch of medicine. So it looks to me like the mechanoid bloodlust is not over, and they are coming to my base. Which might indicate that I will want my shooters back out here. Unless they turn around at some point, but they don't seem to be turning around. This mech cluster seems to be in full swing, pushing south towards me. That's okay. I will have to deal with that. Raptor, you should be tending. Hippie, that means you're back out here, unfortunately, even though you're bruised. I totally forgot about Bash, but thankfully he has kept himself out of trouble. I'm gonna have Bash. He's about to have a mental break, but I'm gonna have Bash open up that that south door, letting the trapped Reapers. These, unfortunately, my geothermal is gonna be totally burned up to nothing, and there's really nothing I can do about that. Okay, I gotta pay attention to these scythers now. Whoa, that is a lot of damage. Am I gonna lose that turret? Maybe, maybe, maybe. Phoenix, try to repair it. Oh god, I'm gonna lose this one too. Now Phoenix has a shield belt on, which is why he can be out like that. So Hippie, you're healed, yes. And JD, you're healed, yes. And Bash, you are in need of rest, and you're cold. All right, so some of these freed Reapers that were stuck in here are now going to run into the mechs, which is fine by me. Another thing I'm going to do is lure the mechs closer, which probably means having Phoenix get to cover. go. I don't think they're within shooting range, but I'll stick my head out anyway. Some of them are. Now, the deadfall traps doesn't always work if the scythers come in at a corner, but if I power these off, I can get them to move around a bit. Of course, that's not really working either. I think it's uranium time. I don't think it would be wise for me not to use the heavy guns. Because that is a lot of mechs. Another thing that I might be able to do is Raptor. Not Reaper, oh my god. If I could hit a pulse, that would be excellent. Hippie. Can you skip? I'm gonna do something really sort of dangerous, but desperate times. Yeah, so he got shot a lot. But I got every single pikeman in that group berserked. Raptor, you are going to get quickly triaged here by JD, because he's also a doc. And yeah, that worked out quite well. We're going to have a lot of the mechanoids beating each other up. All right, I'm going to turn off all the turrets to draw enemies in closer. And whatever was left of the Reapers are now pushing into that mech cluster. So that was a huge risk for Raptor, because of course he could have died in the like split second that he casted his Psycast. However, I do have a Resmech Serum. It's bad to rely upon it, but it's nice to know that I have it. All right, let's go. It's time for the big guns. Okay, Leth and Hippie getting some splatter shots there. I'm gonna have them move. Leth, you back up, and I will tend to you. What of these turrets can I trigger back on? Any of the healthier ones, I'm gonna power back on. Because I just need more guns. Some of them have been destroyed, but not all of them. Okay, Leth, you seem to be walking away. Actually, that's maybe not a terrible idea, given that this corridor is now filling up with bullets. Mr. Bash. Alright, we're doing some in-combat rearming because our turrets are running dry. Centipedes are tough targets, so... we're gonna need to do some mid-fight rearming. Okay, no point in that on. I need all shooters on the walls. I don't know what you're... No, JD, don't do that. Okay, so the The mechs are starting to drop. I'm definitely going to be losing some turrets, without a doubt. As just a result of this being a brutally long fight with a big mech cluster that got triggered by not a lot of enemies, I think is the very pertinent point here. No, you can't go up that way to rearm. So, hold on one second. Stay fortified. Will no longer allow anyone to go over there. Just stop trying to do it. All right, Phoenix. My brawlers are going to keep running rearm missions. All right, so that's another centipede down. I'm going to turn off everything here so that we draw the pikemen forward, because that was the last centipede, at least for now. It looks like there's only 2 pikemen left. Now, there will be other mech assemblers if I don't destroy the assemblers soon. So that's another thing I'm going to have to contend with. Bash, get cover. What are you even firing at? Come on. Oh, this one wasn't off. Man, those deadfall traps did nothing. I mean, it's not a bad idea, don't get me wrong, but they were so not effective at all. Okay, and we'll hole up here. This is gonna have to be a bit of a cliffhanger. Now, I have fought most of the bad mech attackers, so it's not like I think these last 2 pikemen are gonna do me in. You know, I've already dealt with 9/10 of the mechs that came in. If you have any feedback for me, oh boy, drop me a line in the comments below. That was one spicy episode. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll catch you next episode. Adios all.